Hello everyone, my name is Rainey. Welcome to another episode of 1 Month Later, a Hearst Boys original segment, and there's been a lot of eye-opening stuff happening on this channel lately. I'm into an online multiplayer title for the first time in ever, and now I'm playing a Soulsborne? Who am I? So I think it goes without saying that I did not see this coming. Although I think I should include a disclaimer. I didn't beat this game. Okay, and I feel like beating the game is essential to any review. I mean, that's not as common knowledge as you would think, but I mean, I would hope so. I would hope that beating the fucking game is a requirement to review it. If anything, it's less of a review and more of sort of like my telling of my experience with the game and how far I got into it. So anyway, this is Mortal Shell, 1 month later. Up until now, I swore against Soulsborne games. And by the way, I say Soulsborne and not Souls-like because saying I don't like Souls-likes is really fucking annoying. So I'm gonna say Soulsborne. It sounds cooler. But I used to have a really harsh opinion of them. I used to claim that they weren't good games, just really punishing, and brain-shattering difficulty a good game does not make. Which is still true, I still stand by that. Just because your game is hard does not make it fucking good or fun, okay? I'm looking at you, fucking Jedi Fallen Order, you boring piece of shit. But people on Twitter were pretty patient with me in explaining why they like some of these games. The world building of Dark Souls, the fast pace of Bloodborne, the variety in Sekiro. Every Souls fan seems to have reasons for liking these titles beyond just the difficulty. And I'll admit that I didn't bother to dive any deeper than that most of the time. But when I ran into the Mortal Shell trailer on YouTube, completely by accident might I add, something caught my eye, and I didn't know why. Something about it just made me want to play it. I knew it was a Soulsborne, it was written all over its face, but I don't know, something called me to it. I don't know. It's weird, but I saw that trailer and instantly was like, yeah, I gotta fucking play this. And fast forward to now, everyone's been praising it as one of the most solid Soulsborne titles in a long time, and I have to agree based on what little of it I played. So let's move on to... In true Soulsborne fashion, this game doesn't hold your hand or explain anything or waste any time. You wake up in this flesh demon wraith looking thing in this weird purgatory kind of place, and you fight this guy you're supposed to lose against, and then a giant fish eats you and spits you out in what I assume is the real world, aptly named Fallgrim, and you're on your own from here. I mean, hey man, listen, I don't know. Fucking Dark Souls, dude, I don't know. So you start as this Silent Hill monster, and the bodies you occupy are called shells. And I didn't find my first one until I died 5,000 times, and I decided, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna go left instead of right. Right through the starting door, and we'll see where that goes. And it was sitting literally right there, perched up against a rock. After possessing my first shell and finding my first priestess/checkpoint,
I've kept your flesh safe, foundling.
The game really started opening up to me. And as much as I love a deliberate narrative, I appreciate a game that just lets me put the pieces together for myself. And this game definitely employs the latter. Again, I didn't beat this game, so I'm kind of still in the dark about the story, if there even is one. In the first area, you find this chained up Birdman and you undo one of his shackles and you unlock the parry mechanic this way. After which he says that nobody loves him or is nice to him.
It's been so long since anyone raised a hand toward me in kindness.
Same, bro. And that if you bring him back 3 gooey demon thingies, he'll make you some dark magic farts or something. Look, I didn't get far, okay? I'm doing the best I can. To my understanding, most Soulsborne titles are like this. It's a non-linear narrative that you have to piece together through progression, and I can respect that. I just didn't get far enough here to tell you guys much of anything, but I can tell you that I genuinely had a lot of fun trying to find out what little I actually could. So Mortal Shell is 12 hours long or less on average, and I got about 3 or 4 hours in, and I had to move on to Samurai Jack, which is coming out later, by the way, because it was taking entirely too long to progress since I'm not as used to the Soulsborne genre as maybe some of you guys watching this are. And you know what? That's okay. You don't have to be good at everything, okay? I'm not good at everything. I'm not good at most things until I've had enough time to really understand how they work. And the way I see it, I'm definitely going to need more than a month to complete this game. It's going to be a long 12 hours. Which brings me to who this game is actually intended for, because it's definitely not me. Again, this game is not my usual cup of hot basilisk juice, but it's written plain as day who this game is intended for, and that's two kinds of people in particular. People who have probably heard of this niche in video games and are looking for an entry point, and people who are already fans of the Soulsborne genre. I think this is a perfect entry point for the former because it's $30 and it's 12 hours long. So you're not paying top dollar and you're not committing to a long and arduous experience. The quality reflects the price tag, and I'm always all about that. Visually, it's nothing to write home about, but it's a very solid game nonetheless. So if you're someone looking to get your feet wet in the smoldering nightmare tar of the Soulsborne genre, this is the game for you. But it's tailored specifically not for just any fan. Fans of the aesthetic of Demon's Souls in particular, with some fresh and unique mechanics to make it a standout experience, will definitely find value in this title. God damn, I'm getting good at these segues, man. Okay, this is probably going to be the longest section because this game has a lot to offer in the mechanics department, and it's probably the strongest argument in favor of this particular Soulsborne title, because that's another part of it. This genre isn't huge, but it's growing, and it's going to become increasingly difficult to stand out, especially in the graphics department. Beyond Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, there are only so many medieval dark fantasy settings you can explore before all these games start to become one giant eldritch dogpile of cosmic Middle-earth horror that are nigh indistinguishable from one another. That's why we have games like Nioh, Code Vein, and Sekiro. But Mortal Shell said, nah, fuck that! We're gonna stick to that medieval fantasy shit, and we're gonna give you so much fucking nuance that the arousal distracts from the setting altogether. Okay, I walked into this game like, whoa, did this auto body shop just open up? Because I've never seen all these new mechanics before. This is one of the cool mechanics of the game. Like, you don't know what things do, or you don't know everything that they do until you use it a certain amount of times. Okay, max. There's the harden mechanic instead of blocking. There's a unique timing associated with parrying, which I almost never land, but I don't know if that's intentional, so I'll just charge it to the game. Instead of upgrading and leveling up stats and attributes, you have these 4 bodies, the titular shells, that each employ a different playstyle. I mean, you can still upgrade each of these shells, but each one is meant to play a particular way before you even touch any upgrades. There are 4 shells. Oh my god, did I find my second shell? But I only ever found one. Harros the Vassal. I'm getting kind of tired of Harros. Which is the totally balanced build. And there are also weapons, of which I only found 2. The Smoldering Mace and the sword that you start with. And even though I didn't finish it, the game's intentions are clear as fuck from the beginning. Like any Souls game, I was getting my ass handed to me on a moldy soup spoon, but once I got the hang of combat, the game played like butter. I was swinging and hardening mid-swing so that when I got out of the invincibility state, I'd finish the swing and hit the enemy, all while recovering stamina in the hardened state. But once you come out of harden, there's a cooldown meter that you have to wait for, and you gotta manage your stamina the entire time, all while avoiding damage yourself and racking up the resolve to be able to parry. Everything works in tandem, and it's honestly an incredible experience once you really get the flow going. By the way, there's not much voice acting in the game, but the voice acting that is present in the game is phenomenal. It's fucking great. Like, it's actually, like, the few times that you do hear an actual voice in this game are fantastic.
You're also foregoing your primordial desires.
Do not talk to me about desires, Ganessa. I honestly don't have anything bad to say about this title other than it's fucking hard as shit, but that's the point. The punishment is warranted until it just doesn't exist. You suck until you don't. You're trash until you're not, and this game will not give you a break. It demands that you give 100% performance 100% of the time. I see the appeal here. I understand it. I just don't have the time or the patience to adequately review a game like this, so again, this is just more my experience with it. And my experience dictates that this is absolutely worth playing for fans of the Soulsborne genre, and people who couldn't give 2 shits alike, honestly. If you haven't played a Soulsborne game and this is your first one, who knows, you might find a new niche to fall in love with, and if this video steered you in that direction, then definitely let me know in the comments. But yeah, this is a must play for sure. This is coming from the guy who notoriously fucking hates Soulsborne games, okay? So, again, the channel's been getting weird lately, alright? I don't know what's come over me. I like a multiplayer online game. I like a Souls game. This shit's getting weird. I don't feel like myself, guys. I think I'm fucking spiraling here, okay? Ugh.